Hello and welcome back to Assetto Corsa. Today we're taking it a little slower, taking out the Opel Adam Cup R2 car for a drive on the windy roads around Lake Louise in the Rocky Mountains. Both the car and track are in a beta stage, but so far they have proved to be quite a fun combination. So off we go. Excuse the noise from the G27 wheel. And the car is being developed by PT Sims. It's based off the real Opel Adam R2 car. Which is the rally car that competes in the R2 rallies with the Fiestas and things like that. But it seems to boast more power. Now this car apparently in this simulator has 260 bhp rather than the 190ish that Opel state. Now torque is good with about 190 Newton meters, around 7,000 RPM, and the gearbox is a paddle shift sequential. Not something I thought would work too well with this car, but it seems to be okay. Personally, I would have preferred a manual gearbox. You know, generally I like the manuals with your H shifter or stick shifter, whatever you call it. But this is a rally car, so the gearbox is to be expected. I'll just take it down here for a little bit. Now coming into this corner is probably a good time to start speaking about its handling. Now there's definitely something to be said about small cars with power. The Adam Cup car, it handles like a charm. It does have a slight tendency to understeer, which does become more pronounced at high speed, so you'll probably notice that as we're driving around this track, you are going to see some parts, get it, keep on track, some parts where it does seem to be understeering a bit, but there is a way to sort that out. So all we need to really do is lift off slightly before a corner and then give it a bootful. It really does tend to get rid of it up to the point where the rear end does start stepping out, which is always great fun. The steering, as you can imagine, is really light and nimble, designed to get this car around very tight corners because it is a rally car, but that does mean that sometimes you do end up overcorrecting, and on a track like this, if you overcorrect at high speed, you're probably going to end up somewhere up the mountain, down the mountain, or in the water, so you do have to be careful. The suspension in this variant seems to be a little stiffly sprung, so the bounces are a little more pronounced. Oh, that was close. Oh, did you scrape that?
I think so, yeah.
No, it scraped.
Slightly.
Right, so we're going to have one scrape on the car now. But as I was saying, the suspension is a little more stiffly sprung, so the bounces are more pronounced, but it does add a challenge again on tracks like these, where there's a lot of hills, ups and downs, as you can see here. And the little jumps, it does make the car a little bit unstable because of the stiff suspension, but it's really nice. It's a good challenge. Does make the car really fun to drive. In terms of looks, PT Sims have done a really good job on the model detailing. One of the two liveries that are currently available is spot on to one of the real life cars, so that's the actual livery that we're running right now that you saw at the start of this video. And the car itself, the lights all work, as well as the brakes, the reflections all correctly mapped, so it's very nice. The model is highly detailed on the outside, with everything from the Opel sign on the front, which shines out in the chrome effect that it has. That's there, and the sign and the design on the rear bumper, all that's pretty highly authentic. So they have done a lot of good work on this car. Very well modeled. We do really like it. Particularly, I like the wheels. They've got Michelin tires, and it's always nice to see that modders take care in the smaller aspects of their works. So as well as just having the car looking good, they do care about, you know, the bolts on the wheel itself. Inside it actually says BBS, so it's very nicely done, and it shows that a modder does care for their work, and that's always great to see. And it's nice because they are the community, we are the community, and the fact that we're working together like this, you know, people building mods, reviewing mods, testing mods, having suggestions, it's really nice, and it shows that a simulator like this, or any game that has mods, does build and depend upon the community. But enough about the community and talking like that. If we go to the interior, unfortunately the interior is not up to the same standards as the exterior. But again, I have to stress that this is a beta, and as such it's not fully completed nor optimized. Generally though, everything that needs to be there is there, as you can see right in front of you. You have the LED display, and that combines a lap timer a tachometer, a gear indicator, and a speedometer, and they're all in working order. You can also see it's got a bit of a fuel gauge. I can't remember what other car we were racing, but it's very similar to that. I think it may be the P45 Scuderia, which is developed by Assetto Corsa themselves, but it's very similar, and it does have, there is some familiarity here. I do recognise it from something else. I'm just not 100% certain what exactly it's from, but that's fine. It's there and it works, and it's nice and clear. It's not a it's not one of those high res displays, so maybe that'll be something that's worked on in the future. But it does the job nicely. It's got clear fonts. The rear view mirror works. You've got the side mirror. They both work, so you can actually see behind you and to the side of you a bit. So that's fine. The steering wheel does move, so it is being worked on. You can see that there's the paddles there. I don't think the paddles move as you up and down shift, so there is some animation. Ouch. There is some animation that is missing from here, but like I said again, I'm going to stress it is a beta, so there isn't too much to say that, oh well, this car's not that good or this car's not brilliant. The modeling's all there. All that really needs is some of the animations and texturing work. That'll bring the interior right up to the standard of the exterior. The last thing to talk about on this car is the sounds, which I have to give a thumbs up to. The engine sounds alive and very, very feisty. The transmission is loud and pronounced. You can hear it right there. Just as you're going to expect in rally cars. If you've ever watched a rally race or been to a rally race, they have, well, he's actually doing rally now. He's got the car on the side, and it's reset to pits. Well, I tell you what, you went backwards that time, so how about you go forwards now? Right, so you've got the sounds as you're going to expect on a rally car. It's really, really nice. For a small car, it really does give you a nice audio experience, especially if you've got headphones in or a surround sound system. Really sounds good. Tyre squeals bang on too. It's not over exaggerated at all, so the immersion just gets better. Overall, I'm going to say that I give this car a 9 out of 10, and I'm going to say it's well worth a download. The download link will be in the description box below, so do check this car out. That brings us onto this track. Lake Louise is situated in Alberta, Canada, and it does not actually have a racetrack around the lake. This mod author, I believe his name is pronounced Extreme Psionic, has based it off the roads that wind around this mountain. So you've got the highways. I don't actually know the highways in Canada, so I can't really say which particular highway this is. But I was looking up before this video. I was looking up a bit around this mountain, and there are a few highways. The Trans-Canadian Highway that goes around through here, so I'm presuming it's based off those roads. This mod author has done that, and he's given us a fantastic 22.8 kilometer track, which is scratch built in Blender. Now that's a pretty tough gig indeed, especially as he did not know how to use Blender at the start, so we here salute you, because this is an absolutely fantastic track. But it does have glitches, so let's just get those out of the way. The pit lane, very, very bumpy, and as you noticed, we didn't travel to the end of it both at the start of the video and just now when we reset, because we had a weird invisible wall blocking our path when we tried to get out. So instead we've just cut across and we've jumped into a track, which you noticed also the grass out there is very bumpy, and it didn't seem to match up correctly with the pit lane. But there's nothing to really knock about that. It's going to be improved eventually. We'll just be careful. It's going to be improved, and we can't wait until it's all optimized and looking good. Other things, the bounding boxes around the trees are pretty intense, so if you do hit a tree at high speed, you are going to end up with an impaled car, because the bounding boxes sort of seem to mesh with the bounding boxes of your car, so you end up stuck and you have to reset to pits. Also, the trees itself, they're 2D, so they don't look, as you can see, they don't look absolutely fantastic and amazing, but that's there to make sure that the poly count stays as low as possible. With a track this size, if you had all 3D trees, it's going to kill the frame rate, which struggles a little bit as it is with all these tris and polys that are there. Makes the track look good. You're not really focusing too much on the trees. If it is, I would say that you can have some 3D trees around, and then all the trees in the distance should probably be 2D. And maybe even lower resolution, because no one's really going to be looking at them too much. The other thing is, as you climb the mountain, there aren't any invisible walls. So if you fall off, you fall off. But I don't really think that's a bug or a glitch. In fact, I hope that invisible walls are not implemented, simply for the reason that it's just better, it's more of a challenge. So you're sitting there and you're coming up this mountain, and you know that, for example, right there, if you went off there, there's no invisible walls, you would have just ended up right down the mountain, which you almost ended up down anyway. So I think it just gives it more of a challenge, and it makes this track better. So I just hope that the invisible walls do not appear on this track. So, you know, that's that. And as you can see, a few more glitches is that you can see that sometimes you can see through the track and sort of into the skybox. But they're all small. They're all really small, and I'm not really fussed about that. I think the track itself, we just go to the positives of the track. It's fantastic to drive. It's fast, it's hilly, and it really has you on edge the whole way through. You've got to focus on it. As you can see, I'm the only one that's talking, because we've got our driver right now is really focused on driving, and really focused on making sure that he gets the next corner, doesn't hit the tree, doesn't fall off the edge of the mountain. It does really take you in. The immersion factor on it is great, absolutely great. It does feel like driving down a country road at high speed. You've got blind corners, they just appear out of nowhere, both high speed and low speed. You're climbing up the hill into the mountain, then you're coming down the hill again. You pick up a lot of speed, there's a lot of traction, the road surface is really good. You can go both ways as well. I don't know why anyone would really want to, you know, drive two different directions on multiplayer, but in single player it's up to you whichever way you want to go. And there's little signs here and there that tell you how high you are above sea level. So I think at one point there was one sign that said, okay, he's rolled it on, I'm not sure what, and back to the pits. Okay, pick a way you want to go, whichever way. We were pretty much all the way around the track anyway. We've taken you both left and right, well, clockwise and anti-clockwise, and we've covered the track. I think that was just a slight glitch with a small invisible wall somewhere. But like I said, there's these bounding boxes and things, that a few glitches here and there. But apart from that, is this track worth a download? I'm going to say definitely. Especially if you have a high-powered PC that can cope with the additional consumption on the frames. Rating, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. But with a little bit of work, some optimizations, I think this track could easily be an 11 out of 10. What we'll do now is we'll leave you with some of this lap, maybe another minute or so that you can just have a look at the track, get a feel for the car and the sounds. Please leave a comment in our comments box below, hit the like button to like this video, and subscribe to our channel for more videos on Assetto Corsa. We'll see you in the next episode.